listening to the Punisher Waterfowls, the Union 0430 podcast. Brought to you by Real Geese Decoys, the most technological advanced silhouette decoys on the market. And Vortex Canada, the force of optics.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Union 0430. This is episode 85. I love saying the numbers because it makes me feel good. Episode 85, another light crew again tonight. Philly is working. He's got a new job and it's really important. So he's not with us tonight. So it's just us three tonight, and no guests tonight. We took a break from the guests. And we're just going to get through a whole lot of a hockey sock full of stuff that we wanted to talk about tonight, as opposed to having a guest on. So as usual, Mark's coming to us just outside the nation's capital in Ashton, Ontario. Dave is up in Kincardine. You're welcome, Jeff Coates. And I am just outside of Kingston, Ontario. So here we are, fellas. So I wanted to start off, Dave, the very first thing, because we are about 2 weeks away from the Sportsman Show down in Toronto. So on the 19th, thanks again to the generosity of the Canadian Sportswoman Society for inviting us down and offering us up a little bit of real estate to set up. I'm looking forward to this. Mark is coming down. Phil's coming down with us. We're going to rub elbows and mingle with the really important people of the Toronto Sportsman Show. And I'm looking forward to it, man. I really, really am. I've never been to it. So I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. Lots of giveaways. Sorry, not just for anybody. Lots of giveaways for our subscribers.
That's right.
So I'm just saying, hopefully you're a subscriber.
Yeah, and dare I even say, if you are a subscriber, or if you're listening to this and you're not a subscriber, and you're planning on coming to the show, it behooves you to become a subscriber and then come up to the booth and show us that you're a subscriber, and you may walk away with something, but we're not telling you what it is. You know,
I was about to do the whole but
yeah. No.
that would be giving it away, right? That's too obvious.
Yeah, that's too obvious.
Give it away later.
Yeah. And listen, our good friends. We've got our good friends from Real Geese that's sending some stuff to us. Our good friends at Vortex Canada sent some stuff to us. So, you're going to be happy if you walk away with anything from us on the Sportsman Show. So we really, really want to see you guys and girls come and bring the kids and come by. We'll have a time. We'll have a laugh. I think Phil's got some 8x10 headshots he's going to autograph and pass out to people.
It's a pinup of him sitting on his police bike.
Did anybody bring up share screen with Mr. Taylor's image for the YouTube viewers?
Yeah, you did last week, didn't you?
Did you do it?
Phil must have, or I did it. Somebody did it last week. Yeah, we brought it up to only Phil's. I'm pretty sure we did.
That's good, as long as someone put it up.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it went up when we had Craig on, because we were talking about it. So that was a great episode last week. Got a lot of feedback on that. A lot of people were wondering the same things, all the stuff that Craig was wondering about going out west and stuff like that. So good episode. It was great to have Craig on. And then, of course, after the show was over, there was a after party. So I was on with those guys until probably 11 o'clock, 11:30.
A little bit of a burner.
Just a little bit. Guys, I want to get
one more. One more thing about the Sportsman Show. We're going to be, so it's no secret, we're going to try and get into more filming and stuff. So we're going to use the Sportsman Show as like a test on getting film and B-roll and all that stuff. So if you're listening to this and you stop by, just say, hey, I heard you're looking for people to give a review of the show. Just let me know. I'll have the cameras there, and we'll do something fun with it. Just learn some videography, learn how to edit video properly. So I think we've reached the capacity of what you can do with a podcast video. But I've been playing around with like my old turkey hunting videos, and I think this will be like the first one to get us ready for the second video at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And good point, Dave. Like, listen, everybody, we want one of the biggest things that Dave and I have talked about a ton is we want to try and I don't know if promote is the right word, but we want to use as many as our fans, promote as many as the supporters and subscribers and the people, our friends. We want you to be just as involved in this as what we are. So if you're coming by the Toronto Sportsman Show, listen, we are going to ask you to appear on camera because we want to share this with you, and we want you guys to grow with us, you guys and girls. We want you to grow with us, and we want you to be a part of it. So so at the Sportsman Show, there's going to be cameras and everything. God knows Phil will probably be bringing his camera gear. And between Phil's camera gear, all the GoPros and cell phones and stuff like that, we should be able to come up with a nice bit of content. And hopefully this is the first of many years of us hanging out at the Toronto Sportsman Show.
Speaking of GoPros, the newest thing I got for my GoPro 7, they make a battery case for it that's rated for 30 meters of water depth, and the battery will actually last 9 hours. So you could, it makes it pretty big, but you can actually, like, I'm thinking I could probably put it on like a duck floater or a goose floater and have it sit there. And I couldn't find one for the GoPro 10 for the new GoPros, but
these batteries in the cold don't last very long.
So there's another version of that battery for anyone looking to film your own hunt. There's a new version of that battery. I can't remember the name of it. Good Lord. Anyway, there's a new version of that battery. It's hard to get in Canada right now. They're not, if you go to the website and you order this new battery, instead of having the blue on it, it's got the white. That's how you can tell the difference. But you go to order it and they won't ship just the battery across the border. I keep getting an error message. So just be aware that there's a new battery out there for GoPros for our American listeners. And so, you
got to find it in store over here then.
Yeah.
Sanctions. They've got GoPro sanctions put against Canada.
Yeah.
Everybody gets a sanction. Let's sanction everybody.
Good old Canuckistan.
Good old Canuckistan, yeah.
It's called the Gopro Enduro battery.
Enduro.
It's a longer lasting battery, and it's better for the cold. I think it's aimed at like snowboarders and people that actually like to be on a mountain with a bunch of powder and white snow. And I think it's aimed at those guys.
To each their own.
Yeah, whatever, Some guys like to cut down trees. Some guys like to crash into them on a snowboard.
Weather don't matter for that.
Boys, I really want to jump into this. And I'm sure I'll probably get a little bit of some messages or maybe some unsubscribes or something like this, but I really want to
sometime I would like to see you get like just someone come up and just give you a big hug, like, oh, thank you for mentioning me, and give you a big hug, Damien. That would just be nice.
Yeah, I like hugs.
I could imagine.
Yeah, I do. I like hugs.
You got that? Go ahead.
Do I have that cuddly look?
You have that look of like, something at the Build-A-Bear workshop.
Did you just call me fat?
No.
Okay. No. Cuddly.
You can put,
cuddly.
Build-A-Bear, you can put as much stuffing in as you want, right, bud?
Nice. Okay.
Round is a shape.
Round. I liked that. I liked your comment on that the other day. I'm not in shape. Well, unless you count round as a shape. So listen now, we've talked about this a number of times on this show. And again, it popped up this week, and it revolves around this pro staff. I don't know, the ambassador, whatever goddamn name you put on it these days. It doesn't really matter. But and I'm not a fucking pro staff for anybody or anything, so I don't understand or I shouldn't say I don't understand. I've never had to sign a contract or anything like that on what I'm allowed to do and what I'm not allowed to do, and that stuff. But from what I can gather, it's fairly straightforward. You know, you sign a contract, it's written out there. Do this, don't do that. Act like this, don't act like that. It's fairly simple, or at least I'm led to believe that. So if you don't follow the contract and then you're let go, do you have a right to then turn on the company who, you know, you've supported for however long? You broke the rules, they let you go, but now you're upset. And I don't I guess what I'm getting at what point is there loyalty between the company who has you as an ambassador, a pro staff, whatever it is? Where does that loyalty cut off? Like where is the breaking point to where if you're let go that you're okay with it, I guess is what I'm getting at. Does that make sense, what I'm asking?
So usually those contracts will be like yearly, right? And they'll update them yearly.
Yeah. So yeah,
every
Dave,
year
you do a ton of this stuff. So
yeah, so like every year they'll send you a contract, and things change year to year, right? Like with inflation, with their ability to get materials, right? Like maybe I'm just going to use Craig Mintz as an example, just because everyone knows their Goose decoys, right?
Yeah.
Maybe Craig can't get a certain brand, a certain part for a certain decoy, so he would like that for other customers to get as well. The contract might say like, you get this discount on these certain items, but you promote me only, right?
Yeah.
If at any time during that 1 year you don't abide by what's on there, they have every right to say, okay, you no longer represent us. Yep. I guarantee you right now, Craig's Facebook, if it didn't get hacked by someone else, Craig's Facebook probably has 10 messages a day or more. Hey, how do I get a pro staff? I really want to represent your brand. There is a ton of people looking for that. Yeah. So now you've got to bring something to the table, hold yourself accountable to that, and, you know, represent that brand to the best possible. Don't represent the opposite brand.
Yeah.
And they take something into consideration, like say Craig's opposition posted something like a benefit for something, and you reposted that would be something that they'd be fine with. But
right,
if they come out with a new product and you're like, hey, look at this that I got, Craig's going to look at that. And if they're a small company, but they see everything, they keep track of their certain people, right? So yeah, that's just to give a little bit of context to it, right? So I think that especially this day and age, the whole pro staff and the whole industry of that, we've had lots of talks about this, you and I, Damien, and we've talked to other people about like, hey, you know, we're getting called asking about pro staffs for our brand.
Yeah.
I think it's on the way out.
I think so.
It's not like you think, what is it? 2008 is when the iPhone came out, right? So before 2008, when people could just take a picture on their phone and post it on the internet, the only way to get your brand information out there was to have ambassadors, have pro staff, whatever, you know, speaking about your brand and showing it off. Mm-hmm. Nowadays, like if I'm out in the field and I take a picture with my lifetime decoys and someone see, hey, what do you like about them? And and or whatever I like, I'm representing. I'm just saying like, hey, I like this brand of decoy for my floaters. I like my real geese, whatever.
Yeah.
It without talking to Craig or talking to whoever, it's now out there on the internet every single day. There's a new post, right? So it's not the same as it used to be. So I kind of see it dying off I think what's going to happen more now is instead of having like a whole bunch of people representing territories, like you'll have a few pro staff in Ontario, a few in Quebec. I think you're just going to see like the major players like Steven Ranella and guys like that. I think that's kind of the way things are going to end up going, because you don't need 500 pro staff anymore. That's what I see. I don't know. What do you guys think?
We've the waterfowl community is pretty small. I mean, yes, there's a lot of people doing it, but everybody knows the major players. Everybody knows even in your local area, like in our area in general. Yeah, there's probably a lot of waterfowls we don't know, but we do know quite a large crowd that covers the area, right? And we know a lot of people who've had pro staff with different companies. They've been pro staff for these different companies, and a lot of different companies too. And generally, when the company changes its mind and decides not to go the pro staff route, or for whatever reason they don't want to have someone's pro staff anymore, usually you don't hear about it.
That's right.
Usually someone just moves on, right? Person moves on to another company. They're not doing anything to discredit the company they were with, and the company's not doing anything to say, hey, we don't like you or whatever. They're not. That stuff doesn't happen because it's a small world, right? It doesn't benefit the company or the person to do anything to discredit the other, right? It just doesn't. When people see it, if it happens and someone goes public, and I seen it a few years ago where someone went absolutely batshit when they got and
I remember that.
And who in their right mind would ever get that person to be a pro staff brand ambassador again after seeing how they reacted to being let go?
Yeah.
Why would a company take that risk? I'm not going to go and get someone to be my pro staff after I see that. I wasn't born yesterday.
and it's not always the company that lets somebody go, right? Like sometimes it's the actual pro staff that'll actually look at the company and say, I'm not digging the way forward or your new outlook or your new mission statement or whatever it is, right? But again, like Mark said, like, you go your separate ways, and the person probably picks up a new pro staff gig with another company, and company A will reach out and find somebody else to cover up that area, right? So I get that, and I understand all of that, but
let me ask your question the opposite way. Like we're talking about like where the loyalties lie, and can the, like we've talked about a person going crazy because they lost it. Would the companies posting why they let someone go be appropriate?
No,
I'm just throwing. Yeah, it's not at all, right? I'm just throwing it out there, right? Not at all.
Yeah.
So, it's
absolutely. Because if a company was to do that, well, then that company is blacklisted, right? Like that's a stain on that company. If they aired out, like Mark says all the time, if they aired out their dirty laundry on social media or whatever, that's a stain on that company, right? Would you agree?
Yep.
So if I'm, so let's say, so we use Real Geese. Real Geese sponsors the show, right? And we never signed a contract, but between Dave, Craig Mintz, and myself, we came up with what expectations were and stuff like that. So if it ever comes to the day that Craig Mintz says, you know what, fellas, it's been a great run. I appreciate everything he's done. But we're going to move on. We still love the Union 0430, but we're going to go a different way and put our promotion dollars somewhere else. Now, as a person, if I jump on social media and start slagging Craig Mintz and Real Geese, just like what Mark said, do you think any other company is going to approach me and say, hey, we want to be part of the Union 0430? Not a fucking chance. They'll be like, well, I tell you what'll end up happening is people will go, remember those Punisher Waterfowl guys? Remember what we thought about them first when they come out? They were just going to be just a bunch of dudes that's looking to get a bunch of free stuff. That's exactly what they are. And that's exactly the look that you get, and that's the name that you get painted on you. It's because you're looking ungrateful. Like, to what end does the company have? At which point are you going to be happy with the company? Like, what does the company have to do that you are 100% happy? Because the days of getting free stuff, that's over. Nobody gives away free stuff anymore. Nobody, because everything is so expensive to make, expensive to ship. So the best you're going to get is, your 30, 40% off the product. What more can you ask for really than a discount? Because like I said, nobody's giving away free shit anymore because it's just too expensive. And just like when I make a post, so when Damian Pittman makes a post, I promote Momarsh, I promote First Light, I promote Vortex, Real Geese,
Punisher,
yeah, Excel Boats, Mud Buddy Motors. I get nothing from other than Real Geese and Vortex. They have a part in the show here, but I get nothing from nobody else. And that plays into your comment, Dave, where do companies really need pro staff anymore when everybody is snapping pictures of their product and they're tagging them and it's being shown, it's being used, and more often than not, it's not a staged picture. It is as genuine as they can get, right? Because they're using their product and they're not a pro staff, so there's no expectations, and they're just snapping pictures and they're posting them. I would think that a company is happier with that than anything else.
And unless you're like a competition guy where you're going to be on stage and have a big audience.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or like, look at the fishing industry. Like, if whatever boat, I don't know anything about fishing boats, but whatever boat brand wants the guy that's winning the fishing tournaments.
Yeah.
And you're going to have your top 10 or whatever. Those top 10 are going to have companies approaching them. Right.
That's right.
And it's a totally different scenario where we're just guys that go out into a field and shoot some birds in the face. And that's about it.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
And we're not even remotely even scratching at the top, like who the big names are. Like you look at guys like Sean Stahl and dudes like that, and Mr. Stevens down with R&T and all of those guys, right? Like those are the big heavy hitters.
Yeah. So
we're not those guys. So
I'm going to open this up to you then. All right.
Yeah.
Because it is still a part of the industry right now. If someone approached you looking for a pro staff, what would you look for? And what kind of things do you think would help? Like for the new guys coming up, like what do you think they should be doing or saying or looking at,
It's a hard question to ask me because Punisher Waterfowl we don't have a need for a pro staff because we don't actually, I don't know, like we don't actually fucking have anything, right? Like we have some merchandise, but we don't have a product. Like we don't have a decoy. We don't, one time we had gear, but we've shifted from that, right? Mark, you look like you got something you want to say.
Yeah. Just along the same guidelines, how, for what, if someone wanted to go that route, Dave, to get into that, you got to put in the legwork. You got to perfect your craft. You got to work on you got to put a lot of work into it and I'm not saying to be good enough to be a pro staff, but like you said, what are you going to bring to the table? What's someone bring to the table for a company to pro staff for them? Are you out all fall with your buddies and you're working on your calling, you're working on your hiding and your scouting and all those things, and you got your enough of a because social media presence matters. So you do it properly. You're not the guy with the duck with the head blown off. You got other stuff going on. You're putting a positive view that would be beneficial to a company, right? So you work on all the things, and then in doing all that, you get to know people, right? You get to know people. You get to know owners of companies. We like along the way, we've met a pile of people, right?
Big time,
all over the place. I mean, I'm sure, Dave, that's how you've gotten involved with people that you pro staff with. It's through experience. So build your experience is what it is.
Yeah.
You're not going to be a pro staff the first year you start shooting ducks.
No.
Unless you are the son or close buddy of one of these companies.
Yeah.
Right.
And knowing the product, don't go to a Goose call maker and ask the pro staff for him and ask for a duck call when he doesn't make duck calls.
Don't call Browning and say my favorite gun is the Browning SBE 3. You know, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like
no, I get it. I totally get it.
But it's kind of bringing everything, like when we talk about surrounding yourself with good people and all the things we've been talking about, like the pictures that we post, like if someone approached Punisher and we finally came out with the products that we've been trying to come out with, and they said, hey, we want a pro staff, Damien and I are going to look at them. We're going to look at how many followers you have.
Yeah.
There's programs that you can see, like how many of those are actual followers and how many of them are robots. I run it all the time on our page just to see, because when you get too many fake accounts on your page, that's how you get hacked. Right. Yeah. So I run it for our page. But then I'm going to look at the person's account, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to say, okay, how long have they been using our product? How far back I go, I don't know. But then I'm also going to look at, is this one of those guys holding a picture, pretending to hump a bird or whatever that one guy was like 6 months ago? Like I'm going to look at that stuff, and is this a representation? So it all comes back to being a good person at the start, right? Like that's what we're going to look for, you know? So I just wanted to, that's kind of where my question was going, but I might not have asked it right, but it kind of brings everything we've been saying all into one category, right? So
I remember talking to Jeff Coates one time, and we were talking about we were sort of kind of talking about relationships with other people within, so like these big names, right? Like some of these companies, and actually getting to know. So Jeff knows everybody, obviously. And I'm, and I'm poking around, and I'm like, oh, this person and that person, I'd love to meet this person, I'd love to meet that person, because ultimately I want them to come on the show, right? And I've asked Jeff to do introductions and stuff, and I always start off, and Dave, you know this because you get carbon copied on the emails, but I always start off and say, listen, I don't want anything. I'm not looking for anything free. I'm not looking for a discount. I want you to come on the show. I'd love for you to come on the show, and I'd love to pick your brain. I'd love to chat with you. And when we've talked to Jeff about it, Jeff has said, listen, let them approach you. Don't you go knocking on the door. When they approach you, that's when you know you're winning. That's when you know you're actually doing it right. Now, I get it. Sometimes, for the average dude that's just a hunter, Obviously, you've got to be a monster social media presence and doing something extraordinary in order to be seen by some of these big companies. And I get it. So you're reaching out. That was an example mostly for the Punisher Waterfowl brand. But as for like the average hunter, just go out and do your thing. Because if you're doing this for the free t-shirt or the free hat, I think you've kind of drifted off from what got you out in the beginning, right?
And if it's the discount you're looking for, just keep watching the flyers. Like, keep watching Real Geese's Facebook page, because Real Geese, they're running a pretty big sale every now and then, right? So if that's what it is, but yeah, at the end of the day, just be a good person. Yeah, let's go back to just doing that.
Do your thing, perfect your craft, enjoy your time out with your buddies. You're yes, maybe as a bonus somewhere along the way, you'll gain a ProStaffing or a brand ambassador or whatever.
Yep.
That's a bonus. If it happens, it happens. But we go out to hunt. We go out to enjoy our time with our buddies. You go for the memories. You go for the experience, and you go for learning new things. Because anybody who says they know everything is got a very closed mind, right? So you go for all those things, and if ever anything happens where you happen upon a brand to become a brand ambassador or pro staff or whatever, that's a bonus, really.
Yeah, I agree. I agree 100%. I think we beat this one to death, boys.
Totally agree.
I don't think it
go where I thought it was going to go, though.
No, I thought it was going to go somewhere else too. I thought we were going to go down a rabbit hole, but I digress. Either way, we've talked about this a number of times on the show, and anybody that's listened to the show in the past, you're really not hearing anything new. But it is a possibility that there is somebody new listening, so we get it out there. But I'll also throw this out there: if brand A helps you out, and then something shiny off to the corner catches your eye, and then you totally forget about brand A and you jump on brand B, you're a douchebag, in my mind. I'm not saying you have any loyalty to anybody, but you should at least somehow return the favor. If a company has went out of their way to help you, especially if you were in a bind or something, and then you take advantage of that and then jump ship, you're a douchebag. And just like Mark and Dave, and we've all said a million times, the waterfowl community is very small, and it's noticed. It's seen, it's noticed, and it's talked about. So, yeah.
And like we've talked about Real Geese, but look at like Vortex. I guess I can't really say that Vortex hats. I can't talk about the Vortex hats, can I? For the Sportsman Show, no.
Yeah. Go for it.
Yeah. So no, we'll just leave it. If people show up to the Sportsman Show, they'll see it then.
No, go for
but
it.
Anyway,
here, do it.
So Vortex sent a bunch of hats for us to give away, right? At the end of the day, they're helping us by giving back to everybody.
Yeah.
If at the end of the year, Vortex looked at us and said, you know what, thanks guys, we're just going in a different direction, I'm still going to be rocking Vortex for the next 15 years for two reasons. Number one, they're really good people, but number two, they got a hell of a warranty as well, right? So but no, like that's still going to be, Vortex is still going to be a part of this show, because we're going to need that stuff to scout. We're going to be, it's still just a part of our hunting and our,
and in my mind, it says a lot to me about a company that took a chance on us when we were nothing. And we're not that we're anything now. But like they jumped on board. We were just a bunch of schmucks. Still a bunch of schmucks, but they jumped on board just like what Craig Mintz and Real Geese, right? He's like, I love your show. He said, we've been listening to it. Like he was listening to it before he even jumped aboard. So Yeah.
And the best thing about those two people, neither one of them has said to us, we want to do something with you, but you have to change.
Oh,
yeah.
You know,
Yeah. Neither, that's the big thing, right?
Yeah.
If a company approaches you like, yeah, you got to change, and then no, man, keep being you. Just, you know.
Yeah. Well, how many times have we asked Craig Mintz, hey, listen, man, is there anything you want us to do with the show, or you want us? And he says, no, just keep doing what you're doing. Just don't change. Just keep doing what you're doing, and everything will be okay. Okay. Sounds good, bud. I do want to talk about this because we have not talked about it. And I'm just too excited that I have to talk about it, that we are actually going on a snow goose hunt the end of March.
I think I hinted at it at the start when I said second video.
I'm surprised we're at this point and we haven't talked about it.
Well, so, consciously we were like, no, let's not talk about it yet. But I'm just, you know what? I fucking think about this daily. Like, not that we have a snow goose population in Kingston, but I'm always driving and I'm always at the fields, especially now with turkey coming up and I'm starting to scout a bit. I'm always hoping that I find snow geese. I'm like, I just want to see one, because I've got a ton of geese right now in the area, a ton of geese in the area. So I'm just hoping that I get to see a snow goose. But I haven't seen one. And so it's all I'm thinking about. And I can't wait until the 30th of March to go snow goose hunting. It's going to be epic. And of course, you guys are going to be there. So it's going to be wicked. And Nate White and Brian Russian are going to come down and hang out with us. So should be a good time.
Maybe someone else.
That'd be cool if we could get someone else to come hunting.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah, it would be cool if we could get somebody else. But I'm looking forward to it. You know, reached out to Dave Roy and Josh Berglunds, who you've seen on the show in the past. In my opinion, really the only outfitter in Ontario, St. Lawrence Outfitters. So they've been doing
They're
it
the best outfitter on this side of the province for sure.
No, yeah, big time.
No one even comes close on this side.
Yeah. And they've been doing it for years, right? And they've got the property, they've got it locked up. They've been doing it for years. Lots of happy customers. And I'm excited. I'm excited to get together with you guys. Philly is coming down as well. So it's promising to be a good time.
Have you guys been snow goose hunting before?
I have out west.
Yeah. So
I've done it here.
I've never been snow goose hunting, but I know like there's a golf course behind me, right? And then there's soccer fields, and every now and then like there'll be 300-400 birds packed in there, and then you'll see just one ball of white, and all you can think is like, one of those golfers better give me a club, because those things, I don't see them enough, right? Is this going to ruin me? Am I not going to want to target a snow goose now that I actually go on a snow goose hunt? It won't ruin me.
No.
Okay.
No, you'll see that one snow goose in the flock in the future, and you'll still target that snow goose.
Yeah,
that's just the way it's going, right?
It especially in Ontario, right? Because that's a cool picture to throw up on your social media that you've got a snow goose. Like it's such an anomaly to see. You know, if you're in the eastern townships, Western Quebec, not so much, but for most parts of Ontario, you're just not seeing them, right? So no, I don't think it's going to ruin you at all. Not at all. I think you need to manage your expectations with regards to the vortex and stuff. Like I was out west, I never experienced that big vortex of snow geese just circling and those 10,000 birds over your head. I never experienced that. But I could tell you, they're good eating and they're fun to shoot. So there.
Locally here in Kincardine, there's a bird survey that they do around Christmas in December. Mm-hmm. And they tally like we saw this many of this, and I'm looking at the list, and I'm like, it gets to like the geese, and there's like 16,000 or some shit, right? And then you get down to like northern pintail, 26, and I'm like, so anyway, guys, I've decided that I'm going to join this bird watching team.
Yeah. Smart.
Just, can you guys tell me where I can go see these things?
Well, I tell you, and I don't know if it's going to line up for success for you, because I remember Veerman telling me, Veerman's there's a farm or a piece of farmland that's close by his house, and every spring he gets pintail in there, and that's where he gets all of it. So if you see pictures from Brendan Veerman of pintail, that's where. And Veerman's never shot a sprig. He's never shot a bull pintail. So you might get to see him. That doesn't mean you're going to get to shoot at him.
Did you see that recent picture he had of the pintail, like the stud pintail that he took a picture of recently?
No, I haven't.
Oh, so he, I forget his buddy went
over his
decoy that he made.
Yeah.
So he went out, his buddy took a picture of this really nice looking pintail. So he's like, oh, where is it? And then Veerman goes to take a picture, and he's taking pictures of it. And on the other side of the river is his buddy still taking pictures of the thing. It was like the next day, right? So, yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, Brendan sent me a picture of his buddy taking a picture of the pintail.
That's awesome. But
is there any birds that your guys are after that you haven't got yet? Like,
so the canvas. So well, yeah. I would love to get I've shot pintail before, but I've never shot a full sprig. So I'd like to get that. The number one bird on my list right now is the canvasback. That's my number one bird to get right now. Yeah. And maybe next year I will. Maybe I'll dedicate some time to head down to Long Point more than just a day or two. Go down and actually devote some time and maybe
St. Clair.
Maybe St. Clair, maybe at the Delta site there, go stay there again. Which you guys don't know, but one of the head policy guys from Delta Waterfowl will be on with us, not next week, the following week. He's coming on, wanted to come on the show and talk about all the good things that Delta's doing for hunter recruitment and stuff like that. So that's going to be a really awesome show. So anybody that's listening right now, if you got questions you want to ask Mr. Jim Fisher from Delta Waterfowl, start sending them in to us. We've got a couple weeks before he comes on the show, but he's super motivated to come on the show, and he can't wait to talk about all the things that Delta's doing. Bit of a tangent, but yeah, canvasback for me.
Good. Bitchy? Huh?
Probably, well, I haven't shot a spec yet, so spec could be cool. But I'd even go as exotic to say something like king eiders in Alaska.
Ooh,
yeah,
that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah. So somebody told me it's cheaper.
Greenland,
yeah. Go to Greenland, a lot cheaper, and your success is probably going to be better.
Yeah, it looks like it's a better success rate, and you're not. I also don't think you're like. What was that show? Anyway, when the Super Black Eagle show, when Tony Vandemore went and shot one, you're not dealing with those like super big waves and
you're still dealing with those in Greenland.
Yeah, and a shitty flight to get in there, and
you're still dealing with that with Greenland.
Yeah. So? Yeah. All the pictures I saw in Greenland, it was just like that looks like a more enjoyable hunt. Yeah. I don't think I'll die there.
Yeah, I don't know. Greenland's yeah, she's up there too. She's not that up there, but
it's like,
oh yeah, she's up there, but she just doesn't look as treacherous as what the videos that you see for the king eiders in Alaska. You're like, whoo, can't wait. Well, to go.
I remember, Mark. Remember a bunch of years ago, we went to the South Nation Delta dinner, the one that Barry Keats and them have, and the taxidermy guy showed the video. him and his wife went up there.
Yes, I remember that.
They like, it's crazy, man. Like, you pay all that money to go up there, and they ended up only getting 1 day to hunt because the weather was so nuts. And luckily enough, they got their king eider, but they had 1 day to do it. Spent all that money to get up there, man. It is crazy, but what an amazing hunt. Crazy. I do want to ask you though, because this has popped up a couple times on my feed. Nodak. Where is Nodak? Is that in Alaska?
North Dakota.
Yeah.
Nodak. North Dakota.
Oh, can't be what I'm thinking about then.
Are you thinking of ADAC? Like
maybe
ADAC?
it's ADAC.
And that'll be from that guy has such awesome videos too. I've got all of them. I forget his name. He did that Winds of ADAC.
Yeah.
In Alaska.
Oh, that's what's his name? Oh, fuck, I can't remember his name. Yeah, that's ADAC. I said Nodak, but it's ADAC. Yeah. But that's Alaska though, I think, eh?
Yeah. Donnie Vincent.
Donnie Vincent, yeah. He done a hunt in Newfoundland, a caribou hunt in Newfoundland.
That's a good video.
Oh, amazing.
Yeah.
I reached out to him and messaged him. He wrote me back. It was pretty cool. I had a little bit of a fangirl moment there that he actually wrote me back and stuff. And then when I told him I was from Newfoundland, we chatted for a little bit, and then he was like, yeah. Fangirl.
I'm disappointed. I'm disappearing for like 10 months hunting ADAC Island again. That's what he said. Like, I'm getting in my tent. I'm gone. See ya. He's got some awesome videos.
Yeah. And I see Remy Warren just come out with a podcast. He's now, I guess he's part, I don't want to say part of, but he's now a sponsored member of First Light. I don't know how you would say it, but that's some pretty friggin' epic hunts that man goes on.
That's what he does for a living, right? Like,
yeah,
he just hunts and hunts and guides and hunts and hunts and guides, right? Like, did you ever see that? He did a few TV shows. Like, he's done Solo Hunter, which is awesome. That's a great show. But then he did that Apex Predator, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Apex.
Yeah.
And they like tested his VO2 max and all that stuff. Like, that dude proves that hunting is an athletic sport.
Oh yeah. Well, you look at those guys from Mountain Ops. What's that guy's name from Mountain Ops?
I know the guy you're talking about though.
Like, that dude is one of the fittest people I've ever seen in my life.
Cameron Hayes.
Yeah.
Have you seen his son?
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
And he did the chin up thing.
I seen it the other day, actually.
Yeah.
But we're talking about shows and personalities, but this new show on, I haven't seen episode 3. Mark messaged me last night and told me episode 3 is on, but this show that Meat Eater is doing, this duck lore. It's pretty good, man. I must say, like, and not to take anything from any other waterfowl hunting show that's out there, but there was always the common theme, right? Like, fellas were like, "Wow, there's too many commercials. There's too many. It's all about promoting this brand and that brand and whatever, right? And there's not enough hunting." Well, I tell you what, if you haven't seen Duck Lore yet, because it's all hunting. It's either hunting or scouting. That's it. Or the first 2 episodes. Anyways, I haven't seen episode 3. But the first 2 episodes, that's it. It's hunting and scouting. And then a whole lot of, there's a bunch of misses on shots, which I love seeing, and fellas laughing and carrying on and ripping on one another and stuff. But it is, I would say it's as close to the real hunting experience that I've seen on a show.
Yeah, it definitely is. These guys are, it could be you or I sitting there missing.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, right? Like, yeah, you want to see those cool shots of smoking a bird, but reality is it doesn't always happen.
On episode 2, on episode 2, they're in this. They got the Delta guy in with them, and they're in a slough. I forget which state they're in. Anyways, it doesn't matter. They set up and they're sitting in the blind, and the first volley of birds is coming in. You could see them. They're like, here they come, get ready, boys, get ready. And they like kill them. They fucking pop up. Nobody fires their gun whatsoever. And they were like, if that's how it's coming, I ain't shooting nothing today, because that's way too fast. Because they were past shooting. The wind is in the duck's back. They're past shooting, and they're on mock chicken coming down that slough, and they're like, yeah, I'm not gonna hit nothing. Oh, and then they were shooting crane, right? So, but anyways, it's a good show. I encourage you all to go check it out, because I think you'd be impressed with how genuine it is, and that it is actually a hunting show and not a brand promotion. Yeah. Even though it's meat eater, but there's no.
You only get, if you're watching it on YouTube, you only got to put up with the YouTube commercials, which are like anything on YouTube, right? It doesn't matter, but it's not. Go ahead.
Well, I know that we're talking that like it's the meat eater show, but it's kind of a tease for what's coming this summer and this fall from First Light. Like you're seeing all the gear and you're like, pause, like, I kind of like that jacket with the camo pattern, and like,
so the one thing I always remember is when we had Paul on, like way back last year when he was working for First Light, and he had said, almost everybody that's a part of First Light are all waterfowl hunters. Like they're big game hunters too, but for the most part, they all started out hunting ducks, right? Because, just a little bit simpler than tramping around the woods trying to take out an elk when you're 13 years old. And now you see it, like they really are a bunch of waterfowl. Like they are waterfowlers. Like they hunt ducks. So the show, it just happens to line up. Coincidence? I think not. But it just lines up with, the new waterfowl system is going to be announced this summer from First Light. They've got this show that, in my opinion, they're doing the show the right way. They're showing what it's really like. Just sideways rain and the fellas out there with their their collars up to their chin and their hoods up, and they're, it's just beating in on them, but it's not comfortable, but yet, they're still out and they're doing it. So I love it.
I think it's the perfect time for the show too, because like our season's been over for a couple months now, and I'm kind of going through what to do. So now you get to watch a show and like live vicariously through them,
Yeah.
I got lots to do.
What's that?
I got lots to do.
Yeah, you're cutting trees and lifting logs and
yeah.
We're in Southern Ontario is what I'm trying to do.
I did want I wanted to mention a little while ago when we were talking about this whole ambassador and the whole bit. Over the last 2-3 weeks, we have been getting tagged in a lot of posts that people are they're out taking photographs or highlighting some of their best hunts and stuff, and they're just tagging us for the sake of tagging us, right? And I absolutely love it. And it makes me think that we're actually doing something right, because now people are, for just like what we said, we have nothing to do with these people. They don't get free gear. They don't get discounts or nothing, but they're tagging us. They like what we're doing, and they're tagging us in their stuff. And so my promise, and I'll speak on behalf of Dave, but it's mostly me because I'm the one that's usually on the Instagram account. You tag us, I will share it to our story. I promise you. If I don't, it's just because I didn't see it. but if I see it, I'm going to post it to our story and try and get you as much attention as I can. So keep tagging us. Sorry, that was a bit of a tangent, but it's really cool because over the last 2 weeks, we're seeing a lot of people tagging us and stuff. And I love it.
And if he doesn't tag you, send me a message and I'll rag on him. Because I love ragging on him.
Yeah, no, yeah.
I don't think you realized that you have to follow the hashtags. So it was about 2 weeks ago that I started following hashtag Punisher Waterfowl.
Yeah.
And that's why it keeps coming up now, right?
Oh, okay.
And that's why, so every time that I see hashtag Punisher Waterfowl, I share it to the story.
Yeah.
And so that's, I started following hashtag Punisher Waterfowl. I didn't know you could follow a hashtag.
Yeah.
We're not technical geniuses here. Like,
no, not at all.
No. And if it, our email is something to prove that. So poke the bear a little. It's really getting to me. It's really getting to me.
Getting to you. It got to me about 48 hours after
I've been
it went
following
down.
that for a long time.
Yeah.
Can't see it, buddy.
It's hashtag Punisher Waterfowl.
Okay.
Right there.
There's over 1,000 posts on there.
Over 1,000 posts.
That
900 of them.
1,000 and 10,000.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Or 3,000, 5,000.
Oh, well, that's awesome.
Every time I see it, I try to share it.
Okay,
right?
cool.
As long as it's appropriate, guys. Like, let's be honest here. No.
Well, there are women and children that follow us. So, and I guess the last plug for the Toronto Sportsman Show is we'd love to see the kids come up to the booth. We'd love to see the adults, but for us, the kids, and hopefully seeing some kids and them being excited and getting ready for the waterfowl season coming up and turkey coming up and stuff. Really would really hope to see a ton of kids. Our good friends Ian, I got to do a plug in for Real Outdoor Experience because those guys are going to be there. They're probably going to be doing a seminar of some sort. They're a wealth of knowledge, so they'll be there. And we would look pretty bad if we didn't bring some attention to the Canadian Sportswomen's Society and all the great things that they do. They're going to be there. We're sharing a booth with them on the Saturday. So we hope that you guys, girls, all come along, hang out, say hi, and ask, Lori Ann everything about Canadian Sportswomen's Society. High five Ian and Carolyn. I'm sure we've got a ton more friends. Widowmaker Supply, they're going to be there. They were supposed to be guests on the show a few months ago, and we just kept messing up on timings and trying to make something work. So they're going to be there. I think we got a lot of friends that's going to be at the show. So a lot of friends that we've talked to through messages, never actually met. So I think it's going to be a fun time.
Yeah. If you're at the Sportsman Show and you're on Instagram, tag us in your post that you're at the show. Like, tag us at the booth, tag us something. Mm-hmm. We'll maybe do something.
Yeah, maybe do something.
Maybe do something.
Shallow and pedantic. Boys, that's an hour. So I think the millions and millions of fans have listened to us three ramble on.
They actually checked out at the 9-minute and 10-second mark as per YouTube.
Yeah. So no, I don't believe so because Craig Lalonde, Jeff Coates, Brian Rush, there's a lot of people that listen the whole way. I'm not saying everybody listens the whole way, but there's a lot that do.
Yeah. And if you're still here listening, you're the ones that matter.
We love you. We love you the mostest. Yeah. Does that look like a heart?
It actually kind of looks like you're cupping a set of balls at your chin.
Hey, it's 2022. Like there's nothing wrong with that. It's 2022.
You need more arc in it, right?
Listen.
Yeah.
Listen. I did want to say this. I was going to say it at the beginning of the show and completely forgot about it. And I'm ashamed to say this, but really sending out some love to the people of Ukraine and all the amazing people that are stepping up. I've got a good friend of mine, Mr. Russ McBride. Safe travels on your trip to Poland, buddy. Ex-soldier, just like me. We soldiered together. Russ is on his way over to Poland, and then he'll go into Ukraine. He's going to do his bit. Sending nothing but a bunch of love to the people of Ukraine and every other country in the world that's trying to help them out any way that they can. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll go quickly, not around the table. I think we're just doing kitty corner to it tonight, but Mark, to you first, buddy.
Good chatting to you, boys. It's been a couple weeks. Some good stuff covered tonight. I'm kind of glad it didn't go the way we were initially thinking.
Yeah.
We went a positive route. We turned it into a positive discussion.
Right. That's right.
And I'm also getting excited about what's coming up at the end of this month.
Yeah, it's going to be a time, that's for sure. Dave.
Yeah, great chat. And like we always say, if you guys have something that you want to see or hear, you know, a good guest, you have ideas on how to film and video edit, get in touch with us.
Yeah.
You know? Love you all.
Yeah, that's a good point, because it was Barry Keeks that reached out to me about Jim Fisher. So Barry Keeks reached out and said, hey, listen, I think you guys should get this guy on the show. He'd be awesome. That makes it my job a lot easier when you guys tell me who to get instead of me having to knock on doors and stuff. It makes it a lot easier on me. So keep sending in your ideas for guests. Keep sending in your ideas for the show. Keep tagging us. Keep listening, watching, whatever it is you do. We love it. And I don't think we'll ever be able to thank you enough for all the support that you've given to us over the last little while. Ladies and gentlemen, this was episode 85 of the Union 0430. We are as advertised. We aren't experts. We're just a bunch of schmucks, for lack of a better term, that love one another's company, and we love talking about bird hunting. Duck hunting, not bird hunting, duck hunting.
Hey, turkey season's coming, brother.
Turkey season's coming, I know, but
I don't discriminate.
anyways, big love, everybody. Thanks for listening.